Well, it's the Scottish Hydro-Electric Cup competition, and we're here at Horthenden for Lasswade from National League Division 3, unbeaten all season, against Jedforest from Premier 2. Is this a potential banana skin? We shall find out. Yes, welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup, and on paper this should be a stroll in the park for Jedforest, but of course games aren't played on paper, particularly with the conditions here. Very, very windy. It's going to be wet later as well, and it's Jedforest against Lasswade from National League Division 3. Conditions started off bad and got worse. The fabulous new stadium at Lasswade may be excellent, but it certainly doesn't escape the wind, and it was the home side who opted to play with the elements in the first half, taking the game to Jedforest, and they weren't intimidated at all. Two early penalties by fly half Andrew Reid gave them a 6-0 lead early on. Such was the strength of the wind that it was impossible for Jed to kick their way out of trouble. The only option was to run with the ball, and here's Jamie McCraw doing just that. The slippery surface made even that tricky at times, but good support meant that a few pick and drives were employed and valuable yardage was gained. But on 28 minutes it was the home side who went over for a try. Prop Dale Robertson driven over by his pack to make it 11-0, and with a further Reid penalty they were 14 up at the break, but would it be enough? Well, the heavens opened, the wind got stronger, and you had to fancy Jed to claw back that lead, with the awful weather pounding into the faces of the Lasswade team. Jed head coach Cliff Livingston not enjoying the soaking here, but no doubt looking forward to his team regaining control of this match. Well, that was the script, but not the version according to Lasswade. From the restart, Andrew Reid jinked upfield and took play deep into Jed territory. They clearly caught Jed on the hop, and as the men in blue went backwards, Lasswade sensed another score. After relentless pressure, Lasswade finally got their second try, number 8 Donald Hearn piling over to take his side 19 points clear. The Jedforest secret weapon, though, is 18-year-old Ewan Scott, fresh from playing for Jed Thistle junior team, and he got his side's first points with a well-taken penalty. 19-3 then, and you had to feel sorry for the poor scoreboard operator who should have received a medal for bravery. Well, Scott added another penalty and then had an opportunity to land a third from fully 60 metres. It really was one of the great kicks in club rugby. The home team still showed incredible determination and never once dropped below 100% effort. They were prepared to run the ball from anywhere and make ground the hard way. The only problem is, if you give away possession, your opponents only need to kick the ball and let the wind do the rest. However, this was an area Jed couldn't adapt to. Their kicks weren't accurate, went over the dead ball line several times, and immediately Lasswade got possession and territory back. This was a huge boost to Lasswade, and their big hearts were pumping even more as they could see the finishing line in sight. The fitness in the whole squad had to be commended, and instead of running out of steam with all the effort of taking on the sleet, the wind and Jedforest from Premier 2, they continued to drive forward and very nearly got a third try. A fourth penalty by Scott made it 19-12 with less than a minute remaining, but Jed still needed a converted try to send this match into extra time. A big defensive effort knocked the ball out of play, and that was the last move of the game. It was an almighty effort from Lasswade, who can now proudly say they've taken the huge scalp of Jedforest, and it was no more than they deserved.
Brilliant performance for the boys. Forwards stuck it up the jumper in the second half, and the backs did what they were meant to do in the first half when we had the wind.
It was all about tactics, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we brought it in this week, the tactic we've rolled with today. and it worked perfectly. We all the coaching staff decided that we'd play that, and it worked to a T. All the boys played it. I think the try in the second half when we came out and got one, I think that helped us a lot.
I've put my hands up to Lasswade. I thought they thoroughly deserved their win, and the conditions played a lot better than us.
14-0 at half-time, you must have fancied your chances with the wind and also the sleet in the second half.
A wee bit, but sometimes when the wind's that strong, sometimes it's not an advantage, because you've seen it in the second half, we were kicking balls and we're just going straight dead. Sometimes once you can, when you're playing at the wind, what you've got to do. But 14 points, probably, we got the worst start of the second half. It was actually, that's probably the poorest part of the whole game for me. It was the start of the second half, losing a try after about 2 minutes.
More Cup news now, and over to Newton Stewart, where Melrose were beginning the defence of their Cup. Atholl reports.
The Cup holders fielded their strongest available line-up and showed they were in no mood to hand back the trophy. But Newton Stewart had their minute of glory in first half injury time, when standoff Ewan McCurdy banged over a penalty. 2 Jordan Macy tries into the wind gave Melrose a 10-3 lead at the break. Newton Stewart defended for most of the second half and kept Melrose down to 2 tries, both from Callum Anderson, one converted by Scott White. And while it was no canter for the visitors, Melrose did just enough to book their place in the 5th round of the competition on a day when open rugby was not an option.
We won, and that was about the most I can say really. It was terrible conditions in here. Very, very windy, and it got wet as well. So the Newton Stewart, to be fair, they got stuck in, and these got in your faces and caused lots of problems. But the result was never in doubt. It was just get out of the way and get back up the road, I think.
Hoyk's game at Gordonians was a victim of the weather, but Selkirk went to Glasgow Accies. Kenny Houston brings us this report.
Tries from Martin Murray and 3 from Fraser Harkness were enough to see the suitors home by 22 points to 0. This was a good physical test for Selkirk, who have not played a competitive match for a month, with several key players showing up well. Selkirk can now look forward, hopefully, to a home draw in the 5th round.
Bit rusty, I think. We've not been playing for 3 weeks, but good run out, and boys played well. No easy conditions, but we've enjoyed it, and boys played well, and a win's a win. We'll look forward to the next round.
Let's find out now how Berwick got on at Scremerston. They were playing against Perthshire, a league above them. Bill Polson was there for Borders Rugby Roundup.
Berwick started brightly in this cup tie, but Perthshire went ahead when fullback James Fleming kicked a penalty after 11 minutes. The visitors extended their lead when right wing Matt Smith ploughed through some weak Berwick tackling for a try, which Fleming converted. Before half-time, the fullback also kicked a second penalty and then converted number 8 Ali Anderson's try. Berwick prospered at the start of the second half, and good work by Gareth Hill and James Patterson set up David Gilchrist for a try. The recovery continued when Matt McCreath kicked a penalty. Perthshire regrouped, Fleming kicked his 3rd penalty, and running from his own 22 past several home defenders, linked with flanker Gary Cool, who sent in second row Adam Patterson for a try, converted by the fullback. Fleming's 4th penalty sent the Eagles flying into the next round. Final score at Scremerston, Berwick 8, Perthshire 33.
Well, that's just about it for today. Thanks so much indeed for joining us here at Lasswade. Next week we're at Philiphaugh. It's league action once again. Selkirk against Heriots, and they're trying to defend that unbeaten home record. See you then.